Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Brian Altano. I'm here with Mitch Dyer
Howdy.
at Tokyo Game Show 2014. This place is crazy.
Yeah.
It's my first time coming here. It's kind of sensory overload. So today we get to play Final Fantasy Explorers, which if you don't know is not your sort of typical Final Fantasy game. I don't know if it has much in the way of like a grand story or sort of giant sweeping cutscenes and stuff like that. If that stuff's in there, I didn't really see it, but what I did see is a game that sort of harkens back to one of my personal favorite Final Fantasy games. Before you get mad, I know you're going to.
Brace yourselves.
It's Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
What?
Right now you're punching your screen so hard that your giant replica sword's falling off your bedroom wall. Bear with me. Crystal Chronicles was an awesome, action-oriented multiplayer game. You had to play it with Game Boy Advances, and you'd sit around a TV, and four of you would go out onto a battlefield. It was sort of a hack-and-slash dungeon crawler, and you'd fight a bunch of enemies and big bosses, and you'd collect loot, and you'd upgrade your characters.
You carry a bucket around?
Well, that was the worst part. One of you had to be the bucket guy, which luckily isn't in Explorers. Now, Final Fantasy Explorers kind of brings me back to that because it's this kind of big sweeping maps and you little quarters that bring you around, and you just beat on enemies over and over again.
It reminds me a lot of Monster Hunter. Like,
Yeah.
You saw a station, there are like four people sitting around playing their 3DSs, and they all had that same like communication you have when you play Monster Hunter with somebody, where you're like, okay, you go around and take it back. And then there's coordination in the battles, right? You have these different classes. Like there's the healer who's coming over and he's like throwing down a spell to heal the guy who's just wailing on the monster.
And I like that because it's like, it sort of plays to the personality types of my friends. Like one of them is aggressive and always has to like be at the front of the line.
Yeah.
And there's someone like me, I kind of hang back, throw a few spells out, cure somebody behind them. So it's cool to see something like that in the 3DS because it brings me back to holding a bunch of Game Boy Advances. Like it's another Nintendo handheld. We're sitting around playing an action-oriented Final Fantasy game, and I know it's not turn-based and it's not exactly what people are looking for when they think Final Fantasy, but it's what I'm looking for because it's something I can play sort of in bite-sized chunks. You know?
Jump into a dungeon and be done with it, right?
Yeah.
It's got a ton of Final Fantasy isms. Like you summon Cloud, you become Cloud Strife, and your weapon changes, and your aesthetic, like the character aesthetic changes, and your moves change a little bit, and you're extra powerful, and then you go back to being like whatever little knight guy you are.
Yeah.
And then you've like the boss battle we played in our dungeon, we fought against Ifrit, like the giant fire demon. Yeah. Which was awesome. He took maybe a little bit too long to take down, but we're learning how to play this game.
It took me a little longer than it took you.
Yeah.
He does this attack where he basically just drags this big smear of fire behind him, and I just kept walking
instantly.
through it. Yeah, it was really gross.
Yeah, so it's a Final Fantasy boss fight.
That's right.
The bummer thing about it though is like we played that dungeon alone. We didn't actually get to play together.
Yeah, and it was sort of like a tease because you're standing right next to me, and I'm like, this is my buddy right here. I want to play with him. So hopefully we'll get back down there and get to try some more multiplayer. Single player is cool. It's probably something I would use to pass the time a little bit, but multiplayer is, I think, where this game could really shine.
It's going to be great. Like the single player stuff is fun, and I enjoyed it, but this fight took too long. If I had 3 more dudes there wailing on a giant monster, it'd be perfect. Like perfect. We'd breeze through it. We'd kick some chocobos in the dungeon and eat their souls or whatever was happening there. I don't know what I was picking up.
They're delicious fried, by the way.
Oh, I bet.
I did feel bad about beating up some chocobos.
Wings.
Yeah, chocobo wings.
Some chocobo fingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Final Fantasy Explorers. We're going to be here at TGS playing video games all week. It's going to be awesome. So keep it locked right here to IGN.